Hey guys, welcome back to another Eat Smart Nutrition lesson. Today we're going to look at reading food labels in a lot more detail than what we had in the prior lesson. So what we're going to do today is learn to spot and limit or eliminate certain ingredients from your diet. Specifically, we're going to spend time today on trans fats, and over the course of the next several lessons, we'll delve deeper into 3 others. But let's turn our focus to trans fats today and begin by looking at 2 separate ingredients in nutrition facts panels. So the one on the right is cookies, the one on the left is crackers, and my question to you is which one contains trans fats? And if you simply go into the trans fat area of each, you can easily see that the crackers contain 1 gram, the cookies contain 0. Well, you're going to learn that there is a little white label lie happening to the cookies on the right, and that's today's focus. I'm going to teach you how you can find trans fats even when the nutrition facts panel says 0 grams. But we're first going to take a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at trans fats before I show you what to look for. So what are they? But first off, trans fats are everywhere. If you would go into your pantry, into some of your cupboards, you're going to find that the majority of the products that you have likely contain trans fats once you learn how to spot them. So what are these things? Well, trans fats are created in an industrial process that adds hydrogen to liquid vegetable oils to make them more solid. So what they do is they basically turn a trans fat into a man-made form of a saturated fat. So they add hydrogen to vegetable oils like corn oil, safflower, sunflower, cottonseed, soybean. Those kind of vegetable oils, they add hydrogen, and it turns them into a more man-made like saturated fat. Why do they do it? Well, they do it because it gives food more texture, it extends their shelf life, and it really does appeal to our taste buds. So it's a perfect recipe for food manufacturers to use an ingredient that does all of those things, and it's extremely cheap for them to use. However, trans fats could be the biggest food processing disaster in our history, and I firmly believe that, and I think by the end of this lesson, you will probably agree with me. So how do trans fats affect your health? Well, trans fats raise the bad LDL cholesterol levels and lower your good HDL cholesterol levels, the exact opposite effect that what you would typically want to see when improving your health. So eating trans fats increases your risk of developing heart disease and stroke. It's also associated with a higher risk of developing type 2 diabetes. So here's, in essence, what happens. LDL levels when you eat trans fats will likely go up. HDL levels, the good cholesterol, goes down. It's a double whammy. So what happens is there's your arterial wall, and there's plaque building in that arterial wall. And over time, it potentially will become completely blocked, which will lead to a likely heart attack. So trans fats will lead you down the road to this potentially happening if you don't learn how to significantly reduce them in your diets. Here's an interesting stat. Replacing trans fats with good fats, and good fats are the poly and monos that we'll talk a lot more about later. If you replace the good fats, if you replace trans fats with the good fats, you could cut your heart attack risk by more than 50%. By more than 50%. That is significant by simply learning how to spot these things in nutrition facts and ingredients lists. So why do companies use them then? Well, we already kind of talked about that. Companies like using trans fats in their foods because they're easy to use, inexpensive to produce, and last a long time. Perfect recipe for lining their pockets with a lot of cash. Trans fats give foods a desirable taste and texture. So many restaurants and fast food outlets use trans fats to deep fry foods because oils with trans fats can be used over and over again in commercial fryers. Again, these are all perfect excuses and reasons why food manufacturers would utilize them. They're very inexpensive and they can be used over and over again. So how do you know how much trans fat is in a product? Well, trans fats are listed on every nutrition facts panel, on all food labels. However, there is one catch that you must be aware of, and there is, in case again, this little white label lie, and that is that food companies are allowed to list 0 grams of trans fat in their food product if their product contains less than 500 milligrams or, again, 500 milligrams is equal to 0.5 grams of trans fats. So this means that food companies can say 0 grams in their nutrition facts panel even if their products have trans fats in them. So you need to never, ever, ever assume a product is trans fat free by simply looking only at the nutrition facts panel. You must always check the ingredients list of every food product to make sure that it's really not added in. So, inside the ingredients list will be an accurate listing of all the ingredients used to make the product. You can spot the products using trans fats by looking for this key word, guys. You're looking for the word partially hydrogenated. Regardless of the oil that follows, whether it's soybean oil, cottonseed, corn, safflower, sunflower, if you see the words partially hydrogenated with the name of the oil, that food product is lying to you in your nutrition facts and really does indeed contain trans fats. And another point that you must understand is that the higher up in the ingredients list that you find partially hydrogenated oils, the more trans fat that the product will likely contain. So let's look at this cookie, the same cookie that we looked at the start. And if you look there, there's 0 grams of trans fats in Nutrition Facts panel. However, you now know that you must always consult the ingredients list, and there lies in the second ingredient the words partially hydrogenated vegetable oil. And in this case, it is very high up in the ingredients list. It's actually the second ingredient. So I would be willing to bet my life that this product contains as much trans fat as physically possible, yet still allow this company to use 0 grams in the nutrition facts. And that's the kind of stuff you have to be aware of. Even though it says 0 grams of trans fats, in the ingredients list are the words partially hydrogenated, which means trans fats. It just does not contain more than 0.5 grams per this serving or one cookie. So should you eliminate trans fats entirely from your diet? Well, here's an important point. Very small amounts of trans fats actually occur naturally in some meat and dairy products, so eliminating trans fats to 0 is virtually impossible and impractical. However, keep this in mind, the trans fats that occur naturally in these meats and dairy products do not appear to have anywhere near the same negative effect on your health than those that are man-made and used in these products in the form of the partially hydrogenated oils. So you should try to avoid those foods that are prepared with partially hydrogenated vegetable oil. So that's where you're looking to eliminate trans fats entirely from your diets, is by looking at the ingredients list, finding those with partially hydrogenated vegetable oils, and putting them right back on the shelf in favor of those that do not contain those oils. So to conclude this lesson, let's look one more time just for another example at a frozen dinner option here. Look at the nutrition facts, 0 grams of trans fats. Remember, you can never trust this and assume that there's 0 grams in this product until you consult the ingredients list. And when you do, here is a whole slew of ingredients, but if you really read the fine print, you will find partially hydrogenated soybean oil in about the middle of this ingredients list. So therefore, this would be a product that you would ideally want to put back down and find another frozen dinner that does not contain partially hydrogenated soybean oil. So here is a prime example of a very simple thing that you can do to significantly improve your internal health. If you can learn to find and spot partially hydrogenated vegetable oils in the ingredients list of the products that you're buying in the grocery store on a regular basis, you are going to significantly improve your internal health. I hope this helped and you learned something today, and I'll see you again in the next lesson. Bye-bye.